to the fray.
You know, the word degeneracy gets tossed around a lot these days. Usually by some dude with this exact haircut. They never stop squawking about it. Degeneracy this, degeneracy that. We must return to tradition. We've fallen from grace. Western civilization is collapsing because some girl made an OnlyFans. Okay, buddy. And it's funny because this little buzzword, degeneracy, has a long and colorful history. It was a favorite term in the early 20th century, back in Germany. And I think you know what part of the century I'm referring to. It was a part where they weren't exactly champions of artistic freedom and diversity of thought. They called jazz degenerate. They called modern art degenerate. They called homosexuals degenerate. And then they started building camps. And I don't mean the kind where you get to sing songs by the bonfire, all right? So here's the real kicker. If you've actually read history, instead of just jerking off to your cherry-picked version of it, you'll notice something peculiar. The people who get labeled degenerates rarely degenerate. They generate. They generate movements, they generate art, they generate culture, they generate freedom. Take Oscar Wilde, jailed for gross indecency because he had the gall to be gay and clever in Victorian England. And what did his so-called degeneracy give us? Some badass works of literature, that's it. Or take the flappers of the 1920s, horrifying the moral guardians of their day by dancing and drinking and fucking and voting. Shocking. They wore short skirts, okay? They had opinions. You know what happened to civilization? It collapsed. No, it actually didn't. Take rock and roll. Demonized for its raw sexuality, its interracial audience, and its sweaty hips. But without that degeneracy, there's no Elvis, no Beatles, no Prince, no Ozzy. Just a bunch of barbershop quartets and ass polka, shit like that. Or how about drag queens and and trannies and dykes at Stonewall, right? Not marching politely, not asking nice. They're throwing bricks. They're getting rowdy. They're sick of being treated like subhumans. Their degeneracy sparked a movement that reshaped the world. Or take Lenny Bruce, arrested for saying the word cocksucker on stage. A degenerate by every Puritan standard, but without him, there's no Carlin, there's no Pryor, there's no Chappelle. There's no honest comedy at all. Just a bunch of that, take my wife, no, seriously, take my wife bullshit. Take the hippies, the ravers, the queers, the goths, the club kids, the BDSMers, the drug fiends, the burnouts, the pornographers, the sex workers, the starving artists, the iconoclasts, the Satanists, the furries, the drag queens, the street poets, the graffiti punks, the cross-dressers, the witchy women, the acid casualties, the leather daddies, the cyberpunks, the cam girls, the cam boys, the anarchists, the squatters, the hobos, the polycules, the body modders, the back alley philosophers, the kinksters, the runaways, the crusties, the burlesque dancers, the starving artists again, because he's in there twice. I guess I forgot. Fuck them. They deserve to be there twice. The pierced up tattooed freaks, the dungeon dwelling gimps, the gender fluid blue haired weirdos, the nudists, the psychonauts, the ravers, the ragers, the suicide girls, the doms, the subs, the hustlers, the hopheads, the pagan priestesses, the meme lords, the mad inventors, the cultists, the performance artists, the stand-up comics who went too far, the OnlyFans goddesses, the sociopathic findoms, the TikTok trash prophets, the tarot readers, the magicians, the rioters, the hackers, the street racers, the excess-driven rock stars, the girls with snakes, the non-binary nobodies with a microphone and a grudge, and so on and so forth. I could list a million of them. Degenerates, baby, yeah, all of them. And thank fucking God, because without them, no counterculture, no good art, no good music, no movements, no evolution, no revolution, just a bunch of bland beige bullshit as far as the fucking eye can see. Without them, this whole country would be one big DMV. These are my fucking people, and I'd save the least of them before I'd save every puritanical normie on the face of this fucking earth. And I mean that. And if you don't think I do, then you don't know what sincerity sounds like no more. There's a dude, a historian named Thaddeus Russell, who wrote a book called A Renegade History of the United States. This book blew the lid off this whole America was founded by upstanding Puritans bullshit. The early colonies were not God-fearing farmers praying for rain. They were whoring, drinking, brawling, dancing, gambling degenerates. There were brothels and taverns before there were churches. The very foundation of this country was built by people the modern culture warriors would have slapped with their low IQ degenerate label. But this video isn't partisan. I have to admit, both the left and right have a serious Puritan problem. On the right, you've got the usual suspects, the finger-wagging trad cons who believe every social ill stems from people being too gay, too brown, too free. They want a world of button-up morality, forced childbirth, and mandatory nationalism. A fantasy with a boot stomping on a drag queen's face forever. That's what gets their little sausage sizzling. But the left has its own Puritans. Don't get it twisted. The ones who think words are violence and jokes are genocide, and that personal growth comes from endless self-flagellation and forced public apologies that no one ever accepts anyway. They've traded Bibles for identity checklists and inquisitions for cancellation, but the spirit's the same. Conform. Conform or be cast out. Well, fuck you. I cast myself out. Puritanism is not a political ideology. It's a pathology. A sickness of the soul that fears freedom, that fears a chaos, that fears joy. So here's what I say to you, everybody. Let the degenerates speak. Let the freaks paint. Let the sluts post. As long as they ain't hurting nobody that don't want to be hurt, let the weirdos dress how they want, fuck how they want, live how they want. Let every blasphemer and boundary pusher, every joke teller and taboo breaker, every untamable spirit do what they were put on this planet to do. Make the world interesting, make it better, make it freer, make it rock harder, and kick just a little bit more ass. Because when the Puritans of any stripe start calling for order and tradition and restraint, it's the degenerates, bless their obscene little hearts, who remind us what it means to be alive. And we need that now more than ever, because the fun police are out in full force trying to make sure nobody is allowed to enjoy anything anymore. The killjoys, the cry bullies, These perpetually persecuted little whimpering, simpering dolts who have some fucking laundry list of all the fun you ain't allowed to have. I think it's time we start throwing these people into the goddamn ocean. That is all.
Fear not, you weirdos. All will be revealed. Simply subscribe to this channel, comment down below, share this with your friends and your enemies alike, and scream it from the top of the highest mountain. And if you are so inclined, check the links down below. It is beauty, it is truth, power unto you.